When I was doing some research on Trace3, it says that the Trace3 helps IT leaders solve business problems with technology. Could you maybe explain for our listeners how Trace3 does that?
Yeah, well, we believe that technology, especially now in this day and age, is the key change agent, right, for businesses. And it's also allowed for chief data officers and chief information officers and chief technology officers to essentially spearhead the opportunity to deliver gigantic, enormous, monumental impacts to the business. And we've even seen those metamorphoses during COVID as well, where organizations you would have thought were going to essentially not try to grow their business or try to scale their infrastructure due to cost concerns, realizing that it's much more important to move forward and capitalize on the industry and almost on this tragedy that occurred and grow the business and grow along the lines of data innovations and digital transformation.
Oh, I would definitely agree with you. The pandemic has allowed, it's maybe forced organizations to become more adaptive to leverage efficiencies out of that. And in fact, that's probably one of the next questions that we'd like to open up with. We know that a lot of businesses are focused on achieving business outcomes. If a company is just starting out on this AI, predictive analytics journey, what would be your recommendation of where they should start and what should they consider investing in? Obviously, apart from Trace3, I know you're going to say that, but
well, I mean, it's why I love doing what I do, right? I get to nerd out on this constantly with Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 companies, and whether that's executives or data scientists or the entire gamut, it's really a lot of fun. In regards to where to start, I always hated the consultative answer of it depends, but it really does, right? Because I take this process that looks at, we need to have business use cases first, right? We don't just hire data scientists to have data scientists and they're going to increase our revenue by millions of dollars each year. We need to focus on the business problem first and then identify how we're going to get there, because we need the right hardware, the right software, the right data, the right people, and the right processes to make that work. So if we say, where do we start on this journey? I've been developing this theoretical model, the 5 levels of AI maturity. And so on that first level of the journey, you're probably more so just hiring a data scientist or two and trying to get some exploratory wins beyond Excel and basic SQL analyst inputs. But I think it's more integral to understand where you want to go as a business and what the trajectory is for that and what the capacity is for that transformation. Because it's also an imperative to have an internal AI champion that's going to help drive that messaging and getting other people on board to understand that leveraging data is highly impactful.
And so, I think everyone would probably agree having an AI champion and sponsor to help build those business outcomes is kind of one-on-one. But, what do you think they should, kind of look to invest in first? Is it understanding the business cases that they can implement? So that way there's no point in buying technology for the sake of technology, no matter if it's AI, machine learning, or whatever. But what would you say that if you were sort of starting this out, what would you consider investing in first of all?
Yeah. So if I did not have any data scientists, then I would look to leverage point solutions or software applications that have AutoML. And AutoML being machine learning or even deep learning algorithms that can run thousands of iterations of those models to try to identify the best ones based on the data you fed in. Now, there's obviously the component that you're feeding the right data in, but that's another potential issue. And so if that's the way you're starting of how do we just get wins through our data, it's often probably going to be a software solution that you can buy, right, and integrate your own data into. If you've taken the approach of we are going to be transformative and we're hiring data scientists, then we need to understand where the gaps are for those data scientists all the way from acquiring the data to productionizing a model. And the investment should be on hiring good personnel, and whether that's engineering on the front end, infrastructure that will allow the data scientists to be more successful, processes that will help those models get into production and realize revenue. There's a slew of different options, and it's really contingent on where the organization is to identify where they should start.